Let's get into the weekly market update. We got a lot of big things going on. Bitcoin broke beneath the 50-week moving average, the bull market support band, but we got back above it before the weekly close, and we're seeing the privacy meta take off. And I might have missed Zcash, but I've got my eyes on Near Protocol, and also my favorite proof of work layer one ever to exist, that is a Kaspa, guys. Before we get into this, remember, cryptocurrency is extremely risky. I'm not a financial advisor, and there may be affiliate links down below that I receive a small commission at no cost to you. Now let's get into the update. Let's get into the market, everyone, from the Finance Freeman Discord. If you're not in the VIP, you can join using code FAM69 up above promo code. But let's get into it, guys. Y'all know, discussing in the Discord and also on X and everything. Wow, what a week it has been for a market. When we come take a look at things, something like Zcash ran that we can look into here in a second. I mean, seriously, this took off. Pretty crazy, right? 264 hitting 736, and some people in the trenches might say, hey, that's only a 3x, but this is something that's a 10 bill overall market cap, right? Pretty crazy when you think about that. But when we come over here to the weekly on Bitcoin, we can see that we had lost a very, very key level that we had been talking about for a very long time, the 50-week simple moving average. But you can see we are now up above this at approximately 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And you can see we have wicked below it multiple times this cycle, multiple times. Right here, but we never really had an actual weekly close against it. And if you don't know what that means, whenever you're taking a look at a candle, here is the high of the candle, which in this case is a 1 week time frame, which is actually about 110. The low of that week is about 99, and where the body is, somewhere in the middle of that, is where the candle ended up, or where the weekly candle actually closed. So that's how you look at that. But we're currently above that level. This level is not to be forgotten, in my personal opinion, or financial advice, but keep an eye on this level. We want to continue to see strength. But coming over here, we've seen Zcash run, and when we're taking a look at some of the alts, we've seen a couple other altcoins running. The first one that I want to talk about is my favorite proof of work that we can always talk about, Kaspa, guys. This did amazing after, as you can see right here, Jonathan Sampolinsky's post reached 2 million views, over 2 million, and that is when Kaspa initially pumped, which is before anything else on the market. And if you also take a look from the lows that Kaspa put in over here, approximately 4 cents, it then formed this what appears to be a bull pennant, and it looks like we're trying to break out a little bit. We may have to readjust this up like that. That looks good, but if you do have it down like this, it looks like it broke out of that. But this looks a little better. It wasn't a breakout with volume or anything like that, and whenever there's not volume associated with a said breakout, then I typically adjust my trend lines. I'm a heavy trend line trader, guys. Obviously, cryptocurrency is extremely risky, but one that I'm looking at is Near Protocol. They have near intents coming out, and I see a lot of big profiles pretty bullish on it. And whenever I take a look at it, they obviously have the artificial intelligence meta, but they also are processing a lot of transactions through near intents, and they're talking about doing a buyback program with that. And just looking at the volume, look at this trading volume, all-time trading volume on near intent. It's like a privacy type trading. 4 bill. Look at what it's done this month. And this is going back into the overall near token and the near protocol, and they're doing buyback. So that is extremely bullish. But we also got people talking about a next round of stimulus. And I'll tell you what I think. This is supposed to be $2,000 minimum payments for non-high income earners. So whatever that is, you can calculate that. But last time there were stimulus checks, the market absolutely went pretty crazy, right? At the time, BTC was around 7K, and it's done about a 15x since then. So not saying that that's what's going to happen in the future, but stimulus is always good short term. In the long term, it leads to inflation, and that's why overall I am somebody that is personally trying to just own as many assets, high value assets, as I can. But whenever I'm taking a look at the market, it does look like we're pivoting a little bit into an altcoin season, right? Even though Bitcoin is recovering, we see some projects showing a lot of strength over here, and it's just very narrative based in my personal opinion. We're still at altcoin season 31 out of 100. As you can see here, the average crypto RSI is 54.5. However, if you take a look at a few of the coins such as Zcash, RSI is through the roof on a weekly, right? And so we definitely have a ton more coins right now. And just like we had the AI meta, just like we had the meme meta, we're also in the middle of the privacy meta. So I do not believe this is a full-fledged bull run, but I do think it is the start, especially if Bitcoin is able to hold this 50-week simple moving average. But we're at a turning point in the overall market. Whenever we take a look, we bounce below the 50-week simple moving average on Bitcoin, but now we are up above that. It looks like we're going to close the weekly, but Monday morning will be very, very interesting. We've got a lot of big things happening, potentially the government opening back up, and a lot of stimulus in different ways coming down the road. So let me know what you think is next for the crypto market. Watch this video up above, and if you're not part of the Finance Freeman family, what are we doing? Subscribe. I love you all.